Population collapse. Okay, this is a hot topic in the streets, especially when it comes to politics. You know, you have Bill Gates, Warren Buffett telling you that the earth is overpopulated, we're running out of resources, and it's getting warmer, right? Then you have Elon Musk and you have Jordan Peterson, also pretty smart guys. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're warning about the opposite, population collapse, right? So I think everyone knows the first one. Not many people are familiar with the second one, but the theory behind population collapse is that when you have a dwindling population, and basically we're going towards a exact replacement rate right now, right? You become top heavy. So you end up with a lot of old people, less and less young people, and you face an economic collapse because the young people coming in can't support the older people economically, right? So you end up having an economic collapse, hunger, poverty, people die, yada, yada, right? So again, I'm not here to debate either one of those. What I am here to tell you is that there is, in fact, a population collapse happening, and what I would say is a knowledge collapse in the construction industry, okay? There is also a resource problem, but let's stick to the population collapse for now. So what is the problem? Knowledge comes from education. Education is the best experience, right? That's why usually when people graduate from college, everyone agrees you learn more in the first 6 months or year after college than you did the entire time in. It's because you're gaining real world experience. You're looking in the mirror, you're finding things out about yourself. And what you're also doing is you're leveraging other people's experience, right? And if you're not, you got to start doing that, right? So you got to find a mentor, you got to surround yourself with the right people, the right opportunity, because you walk in with a year of experience, but if you're pulling knowledge from people and learning from those who have 10, 20, 30 years in the business, now you're leveraging their experience, and that's where the real value comes in, right? So let's go over some stats, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Chris is not in the construction industry, right? So Chris is, and that is intentional that he is on this podcast because he is green and he has a fresh perspective that a lot of you may have, and he's very good at asking questions. So let's go through some stats that might grab your attention. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, what was the average age in the construction industry, you think? Anybody. We're talking sweeping floors, hammering nails, project manager, architect, business guy, whatever.
30?
32. Pretty good, right? Today, what do you think it is?
Older.
So it's older. It's obviously a leading question, right? Like we're having this conversation for a reason. It's 42. Okay, I have seen other stats where people debate this and they say it's 51. Either way, it's a lot older to a serious degree, right? Now, 50% of that population is over the age of 46. So what does that mean? That means that in the next 20 years, half of the construction population is going to retire. So half of your laborers, your plumbers, your architects, your engineers, your project managers, your business owners, half of those people are going to retire.
But you're also losing all that knowledge.
And we're going to get to that, right?
Okay.
So that is very important because I don't think that most people, they see the numbers and the people, but it's not about the people really. It's about the knowledge, right? That's the real risk, because how do we come back for that once it's gone? Once all those people retire and die or go away and hide in Florida on a boat or something like that, right? So the question is, as we mentioned with the population collapse, is there's a dwindling population, right? That means that however many people are in there now are leaving and less people are coming in. That rate is 7-1. For every 7 people that retire or die in the construction industry, only 1 comes in.
It's crazy. And you see
7 out, 1 in.
You see it across the board too. They had that. It's been a topic in aviation for pilots, for AMTs. That age now, the average mechanic, I believe, is 61 in the aviation industry. So that's even higher. So
which is crazy.
All these specialized fields are
nobody's going to be able to fix a plane in like 10 years. Yeah. That's what that means, right?
They're hoping teleportation is going to be available. So.
You know who else has this problem? And I'm just going to say it right now. I would drop stock in the MLB. I think baseball's dying. When the average person watching baseball is 56, I think it is, you're screwed because kids aren't playing. I don't know too many kids that play baseball nowadays. But we're not here to talk about baseball. Okay? So what does that mean? Let's paint the picture, right? I like talking about how many people are in the room. 100 people in the construction industry today, right? 50 of them are going to retire real soon. How many people come in? That means at a rate of 7-1, people leaving to coming in, that means that only 7 are going to replace those 50, right? So what's taking 100 people to do now We're only going to have 57 to do then, right? And the industry is already stretched. So like people are already at bandwidth, they're getting burnt out. So in an already stressed industry with a high demand, we're about to lose about half of the workforce, right?
So what does that mean in terms of like, well, two things. What does that mean in terms of the downsides, and then where's the opportunity in that?
So on the downside, like we said, the best thing that you can do for your career is leverage the experience of those around you, right? So when those 50 people leave, those 7 people that come in don't have as many people to learn from, right? So they have less experience to leverage themselves. Now, what happens in the next 10, 20 years after that? When the 50 people that were left leave, now we have 14 people doing the job that currently 100 people are doing, right? Now, those 7 people, the new 7 people only have the first 7 people that came in to learn from, right? So the amount of knowledge, so they're not going to be as good or as knowledgeable as the first 100 people that had 100 other people to learn from. They're going to be less knowledgeable, which means that the next people are going to be less knowledgeable. And then you go 20 years later and those 7 people retire. Now you're only down to 8 people. And not only are you getting less people, but you're getting less experience to leverage. You're getting less knowledge to leverage, which means that there's less education available, which means that we're all getting dumber. Yeah. Right? So we're all getting dumber, which is not a good place to be. And this rate is increasing, right? Like I've seen some stats on Fox and on CNN and all these other places where they're saying, oh, people aren't going to college, people are opting for the trades, right? That is false hope because that number used to be 5-1 10 years ago. Right now it's 7-1. So yeah, maybe people aren't going to college as much now, and they're opting for the trades, and that is a good thing. It is encouraging, but it's not. The bleeding has not stopped. Like we are not even close to stopping the bleeding. So that's the bad part.
So so that's where it can go. It's kind of getting worse. It's getting exponentially worse. So for somebody that's younger or wants to switch their career, everything like that, what's the opportunity here?
So the opportunity is supply and demand, right? Again, if you knew in the stock market that you could buy something at $10 and sell it in a year for $100, you'd throw all your money into it, right? The numbers just in salaries since I entered the industry 20 years ago, like executives now throw up when they compare what they got paid in the 80s compared to what people get paid to start now, right? That's only getting worse. I mean, people that I graduated college with and people that have been in the industry for 10 years are shocked that in Florida, where everyone in New York and Boston that wanted to move to Florida, right? For years they were told, oh, you got to take a pay cut, right? Kids are walking out of colleges that just started a construction management program, right? Don't even have like a crop to claim is like, hey, we got a good talent pool here at 65, 68 grand in Florida. Right? Again, they're walking out with 75 grand in New York. So that's only going to get better, right? And as the population dwindles, as the supply dwindles and demand either maintains the same or increases, right? And it's going to increase, right? Building's never going to stop and maintenance is never going to stop, right? Salaries are going to keep going up. When there's less people that know how to do what you do and less people that are capable of bringing the value to the table that you can bring, ching ching, you're going to be making money hand over fist. Make the investment now in this industry, and when you get in, the best thing that you could do is latch on to one of these people, one of these guys or one of these women that have been around for 10, 20 years, 30 years, and suck every single piece of information and advice out of them that you possibly can, because that knowledge, that experience to be leveraged is not going to be around forever.
Yeah.
And it's only going to make you more valuable. It's going to make you more money. And I mean, we as an industry and we as a world, as humans, like we actually need it too. So if you want to go down the virtuous route and you want me to try to tell you that like it's good for humankind, like it genuinely is.
Okay. So, and I know we're going to talk about mentorship on the next one, but just to recap this one, how would you summarize this, what we just talked about?
So population collapse is real. I'm not going to sit here and debate about the left and the right and whether or not that's a good thing, right? it is real in this industry. Population collapse in the construction, architecture, engineering industry, people from sweeping a broom to running a project to designing it as an architect or engineer, is dwindling. The demand will not go away. The less people that are able to bring that value to their community, the more they're going to be able to charge. You are going to be making money hand over fist as time goes on in this community. Make the investment now in architecture, engineering, and construction. You will not regret it.